This is the Subaru Outback, so it's only appropriate that I've come out here to the Outback to talk about this car. The only thing is, this isn't the Outback. Jason, if you turn the camera around, you'll see that we're actually on Sydney Harbour. But it's good for the city too. Welcome to Four Wheels in a Seat. My name's Alex Dalrymple. This is my channel where I review new cars every week, especially for people who are looking to buy a new car and don't know which way to turn. I can help you out with a simple, straightforward review. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button down below, the notification bell, and if you enjoy the video, please do give me a like. Now in its fifth generation, the current Subaru Outback is starting to maybe look just a little bit long in the tooth, and we know that there's a lot of big Subaru fans out there because it sort of gets passed through the generations as their current TV campaign shows. But if you're a fan, you could be in for a bit of a shock because the sixth generation, which is apparently coming out next year, rumour has it, it's going to take on more of a traditional SUV form and lose this wagon shape. So if you're a fan of this type of car, this could be the last one you can get. Now this particular model is a top spec limited edition Sport XT model. So it's got all the bells and whistles, and it's also in a very unique shade of blue called Geyser Blue. This color is only available on this car and on no other Subaru. So being a sport model, we've got everything in black. We've got black accents all over the place. Very traditional Subaru look all up. 18-inch alloys in black that look really good. You can see here, despite the road kind of sloping away a bit, it still rides up really high, plenty of ground clearance. Really like the green highlights here on Outback, and that's repeated up here on the roof racks, which is a particular favourite of Jason, who's doing the camera for me today. As part of the special edition pack, we also get blacked out logos here, and that's a nice little touch that I think looks really classy. Under the powered tailgate here is a really good sized boot, 522 litres. That expands by a further 700 litres or so with the rear seats down, which you can do with this really cool feature. You just pull out this handle here and down they go. Ow! It is really hot today and this engine is just boiling. Ow! Ah! Hurties. So under this very hot bonnet is a 2.4 litre 4-cylinder boxer engine that outputs 183 kilowatts and 350 newton meters of torque, powered going to all four wheels via a CVT, and fuel economy clocks in at around 9 litres per 100 kilometres on a combined cycle. Interesting arrangement here though, because we've got the air intake up here at the top, and that's connected up here to the bonnet, which then kind of goes underneath the bonnet lid and comes out the front here. Why not just have a scoop on top? That would look awesome. Inside and Subaru interiors don't get much better than this. It is packed full of all the best gear because this is a special edition model and it is a really nice place to be. We've got nice soft touch materials throughout, stitching with a bit of leather, and yeah, it just feels really quite good. Now here in the middle we've got an 11.7 inch center console screen that pretty much runs everything. There's not a lot of physical controls in this car, so you do have to take your eyes off on the road to do a lot of stuff, but kudos to Subaru. They have actually made one of the better systems on the market, because while it does look a little bit like a child's iPad outwardly, it is really easy to use, especially when you're on the go and you don't have much time to take your eyes off the road. This is a really simple system to operate, and that's a good thing in my opinion. It also comes with wireless Apple CarPlay, wireless Android Auto, native navigation, and digital radio, so you're not really short of features at all. The sound system has 9 speakers in this top spec model. It's powered by Harman Kardon and sounds really good. Climate controls are also run through this system, but there are a few basic physical controls out here on the outside, so you can at least change the temperature on the go, but for anything else you do have to go into the screen itself and make adjustments there. Moving down, we've got USB-A, USB-C ports, and audio input. In fact, lower spec models of the Outback also come with a CD player. This particular car does not. A little space to keep your phone. There's no wireless charging, unfortunately. Gear shifter, pretty standard affair. We've got the camera view button there, so you can toggle between various camera views on the outside of the car. Pretty good armrest here with a little tray, and underneath that a fairly small center console bin, and Oh, look, I actually did find a CD player. According to the specs, this car doesn't have it, but this particular one does have a CD player. Go Subaru, pretty much the only manufacturer is still doing that. The instrument cluster is a hybrid analog digital unit with a small digital screen in between the two. It displays fairly basic information, but again, you can scroll through a few different widgets to change whatever you want displayed in front of you. The dials themselves are pretty clear and straightforward. I look at the digital display myself because I think that's a little bit more accurate. The steering wheel, standard Subaru affair, so there's lots of buttons, lots of controls, paddle shifters on the back. This particular car also comes with heated steering wheel, although I cannot imagine using that today. The Napa leather appointed seats here in the special edition top spec Sport XT are fully electrically adjustable with lumbar support. They are also heated and ventilated. They are very comfortable actually, so doing a road trip or going off-road in this car is quite it'd be a nice thing to do. The sunroof is not huge, but it does let in a good amount of light into the cabin, but I think I might just keep that closed for now. The headliner is nice and light and bright, so it keeps things quite bright here. And the seating position is excellent, plenty of headroom and great visibility out the front. In fact, all around the glass house, there's no real blind spots to speak of. There are blind spot monitors in the wing mirrors, big orange lights that come on if there's something in your blind spot. So yeah, it's a very nice car to drive. The back of the Outback is really good too. There's more than enough leg room behind my own seating position. I'm 190 centimeters tall, nowhere near the seat in front of me. Plenty of tow room as well. Headroom's great, and the seats, again, Napa leather appointed and very comfortable with armrest and two cup holders. In the center there, we've got seat heating controls, plus USB-A and USB-C ports. So the family will be perfectly comfortable back here in the Outback. So if you've ever driven a Subaru before, you're not going to be in for much of a shock because the Outback drives just like pretty much every other Subaru, except the Solterra and the BRZ, of course. But that's to say, it drives really, really well, and it's very solid and has fantastic visibility all around the cabin. It just feels extremely well planted to the road. The symmetrical all-wheel drive gives you fantastic traction, especially in the wet. And most importantly of all, you don't notice speed humps. You literally just glide over the top of them like they're not even there. Like this one. Okay, maybe you do notice that they're there, but it is still an extremely smooth experience going over one. Is the Subaru Outback a turn-back car, a car so good looking that you have to turn back and look at it after you parked it? I think this year's model actually looks really good. I think it's definitely an improvement on the previous model. Is it turn-back worthy? Yeah, maybe not. Maybe it's a car that you turn back and look at when it's new, but there are quite a few of them on the road, so you do become perhaps a little bit immune to their charms. It's quite a warm, humid morning, and I'm really enjoying the ventilated seats. It's just keeping me nice and cool, feeling fresh. There's two drive modes, S and I, and they are controlled by a button over here on the steering wheel. So if we put it into S mode, as we get onto the freeway, that was all right. That was pretty good. One thing I don't love that I know sounds a little bit minor is the way the indicator works. It doesn't lock into position when you turn it on, and if you don't do the exact amount of pressure, it won't lock on and it will just flash 3 times as if you're changing lanes. Now that's not a big problem when you're going around a corner because you can put it on again, but it does mean that if you do it too hard when you're trying to change lanes, it'll stay on, and then you're kind of trying to flick it back up to stop it, and then you're putting it on the other side. It's just not an ideal way to do things. Subaru have for a little while been using facial recognition in their cars in the same way that your iPhone does to unlock. The car will, once you set it up, know who is driving and adjust all of the settings accordingly, and that's a pretty good system. It also keeps an eye on your eyes to make sure you're always facing forward and puts a warning up here on the dashboard if your eyes wander off. As I said at the top, the days of the Subaru Outback being a wagon could potentially be numbered, so my advice to you, get into one of these special edition models while you can.